8B7, Downtown District BIA summer-long event. And there's a letter of request for assistance and road closures from the downtown improvement area. And the resolution is that the request for assistance and waiver of fees from the Downtown District BIA for their summer-long event from June 26th to September the 30th, 2020 be referred to the grant committee, and that the northbound traffic lane of Front Street between the south side of Victoria Avenue and the north side of Bridge Street and Campbell Street from Pinnacle Street be closed to traffic subject to emergency vehicle access from Friday, June 26th to September the 30th, 2020. Can we get this on the floor? Motion to approve it. Councillor Williams, seconded by Councillor Culhane. I'm going to suggest that we actually might want to do some different things. I see, seeing as the grant committee, I don't believe we have a scheduled meeting for the next little while. And I know the BDI would like a decision. At the last council meeting, we redirected some previous funding so that they can start on this. And I think we should probably give some more direction even before we deal with our budget on July the 6th. So I'll open it up for discussion, and perhaps we can massage this to get it going there. Councillor Carr, I see you'd like to speak, and I recognize you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yes, I asked this to be pulled because there was reference to referring it to the grant committee. I've been communicating with staff now to set up a meeting, but regardless, it would have to come back to council for approval. And with our next meeting being July 13th, we're kind of putting the BIA in a little bit of a disadvantage. So it'd probably be wise to just take out the referral of the grant committee, and if I could make that amendment, and we just deal with the request here. It's pretty straightforward. It's a little bit of deviation from previous events, but nonetheless, it's something that we've certainly dealt with in grant committee before, and all of council is familiar with these type of requests.
Sure. But Councillor Williams, I believe, made the motion, seconded by Councillor Culhane. Are you, well, let's maybe have some discussion about it, and then we can come back and maybe take care of one amendment to a number of things. But I certainly appreciate your comments, Councillor Carr, about taking out that referral. Councillor Williams, on discussion, you want to activate your microphone?
Yes, sir. So thank you very much. I think I certainly support that. I think, you know, downtown needs that. And I would also support a second amendment. I don't know if it's been discussed or not, on the Creos, and that's the lights downtown Belleville, and that's meant to be an attraction. When we actually look at our EDDC strategy, which hasn't been approved by council yet, but it's been in front of council, part of what we're looking to do to help the city is what's called product development. So normally in tourism, we think of marketing, and that's what Bay Quinte Regional Marketing Board does for us. But product development is actually the act of creating products just like pop-ups, which would bring people to the city. Given through COVID that, you know, we have limited product. We don't have Rockfest this year or the Summer Music Fest. We don't have a lot of different things we normally have. I think that also fits within downtown. And I know that maybe that's something we can bring forward to budget and have the discussion. But I know just like this instance, downtown needs to have answers now, given what's happening and given that they need to put this event on. I really believe not just being on the downtown and spending a lot of time speaking about it, but now the more that we've talked about it, and they've been great at getting this program coming forward and bringing it to council as quickly as they have. I really believe that we do need to support this for downtown. I think it's not just good for the downtown as we often look at it. I think it's good for the city in terms of tourism product development. That coupled with the openings at Myers Pier and having that pier in that whole area downtown, and then the pop-ups, it forms a nice little triangle. It would be nice to see some more developed uptown and in Thurlow, but this is what we have for now. So not only do I support that we put that part through now and bypass the grant committee, I'd love to see an amendment. I'll wait for more discussion on using some MAP money to support the Creos, which is a light display that is downtown, so that they are ready to put something forward that is going to be a good tourism product development for City of Belleville.
Right, thank you. Councillor Thompson and then Councillor Kelly.
Thanks, Your Worship. I just want to say that I support this wholeheartedly because I still question of where the one lane, whether we could, has there been any thought by the DBA of moving it farther from the upper bridge down to the far side of City Hall? I know that causes some traffic problems, but it would include all of Front Street. But it also, the other side of this, by expanding this and closing one side of the street, it certainly opens it up to more accessibility issues, because as we increase the cafes outside, the patios, by doing this, it creates a lot more avenues for accessibility, people with wheelchairs and so on, to come downtown and enjoy the downtown. So has there been any thought of the DBIA of closing the street further up?
Thank you. I wonder if I can get Manager Reed to be activated. Mr. Coyle will do that. There's, as you can imagine, Councillor Thompson, there's been a lot of discussion with city staff. We delegated some authority at the last meeting to Director Ashton to be able to allow for the expansion of patios onto onto the sidewalk, and being facilitating as much as we can. There is some discussion with respect to the safety requirements for closing one lane and not. I don't think we've made a final decision on that, but I will ask Manager Reed. Do you want to provide some comments and even some of your thoughts about moving forward? Council, I think, is looking to take direction from those of you that are experts on what's the safest, best thing to do to allow businesses during this really unusual year to do everything they possibly can to survive. And I know you've been dealing with that. Mr. Reed?
Yeah, through the chair to all council. I do know Mary Jo has been discussing different options. And, you know, at the end of the day, anything's possible. But the challenge is that we don't want to drive. We want to still have it accessible to people to come. Like, I mean, our community, for the most part, does use vehicles to get to and from work and locations. And if we limited the downtown core too much to vehicular traffic, we may cause more problems than what we really want. We want to have people to come downtown. So I know Mary Jo had looked at a full lane closure for the top end. However, you know, she, after looking at it, she wanted to just go to the one lane. South of Bridge Street would cause some other concerns with buses and so forth in our transit. And we don't want to have any hindrance for our transit, getting to people from the downtown and to their places of, you know, where they live and where they work. So right now, Mary Jo's asking for this, you know, between the top end or Victoria to Bridge Street, and we think it is doable to take it down to one lane.
Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be closing the total street. I was just saying if we could open, if there had been some discussion of closing and having one lane from the upper bridge down, but you've explained it very well, and thank you very much.
Okay. Any further discussion on this item? I have Councillor Kelly next. Go ahead, Councillor Kelly, and then I have Sanderson. Councillor Millette, did you raise your hand earlier? No, okay, so it'll be Councillor Kelly, followed by Councillor Sanderson, and then Councillor Culhane. Councillor Kelly.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say I support this as well. I'd like to get it moving today, and being involved on the Bay of Quinte Regional Marketing Board, and also part of the conversations with the Mayor's Task Force in downtown. We know last Friday when the province opened up stage 2, I witnessed many of the businesses downtown putting in patios last week, working around the clock to get that done. And this past weekend had a chance to go through the downtown core a few times and noticed it was busy. And that tells me the businesses are committed to this new look. So it's brought renewed energy. We all know the success of a downtown has to be vibrant. There's economic benefits. But with COVID-19, I strongly believe downtown also offers a lot of social benefits now. And by shutting down those one side of the street, you're going to get people communicating, respecting social distancing. But and when I look at the plan that Mary Jo and the Downtown District has put together, 10 picnic tables, that's good. Families can come down and sit together, use of the market square on Friday. So more than ever, this is the time to be back in the downtown, and all the businesses to hopefully see that they have a successful rest of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Councillor Sanderson, you want to activate? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. So Al Fresco came to council at the last meeting, and I supported it then. I'll support it now. It was an initiative from the Downtown Improvement BDIA. So it's just like e-commerce. It came from the BDIA. It didn't come from the EDDC. So that's point one. Point two. We talked, I think the number was 47,000, of which we were going to upfront them 25K or 22K. I may have the numbers reversed. And then the additional monies, we were going to look at, I don't know why it ended up with the grant committee, because I thought it was going to come from MAT tax. And then, so this is just the plan that supports basically what we all endorsed at last council. So I'm 100% behind it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Sanderson. Councillor Culhane. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I will echo everything that's been said and offer congratulations to the BDI. It's an excellent plan. I love the downtown. I love to go downtown. I know the merchants, and this will give a new fresh look to downtown and bring more people. If we want this city to thrive through the current challenge, then we need to support our downtown merchants. So yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Culhane. So just a couple of clarifications, just so, because we've had some discussion and just to make sure that everyone's on the same page. So at the last meeting, we received a proposal from the BDIA with 3 different options of some suggestions. In 2019, we allocated some of the municipal accommodation tax towards other events in downtown. And at the last council meeting, we reallocated those towards whatever of the 3 options would happen. So they've received some of the 2019 MAT funds for that. There were 3 options. The grand total was for option 3 was 31,000, option 2 was 37,000, and option 1 was 47,000, which means that there's a gap between those $25,000 of funds we gave and what they're looking for from the city. We have been able to look at reallocating some of the municipal costs, meaning staff time and items like materials, garbage cans, or as we monetize all those. And with the fact that the Spicy Food Festival and the Downtown at Dusk have already been canceled, we think that that's going to be a wash on those items, which means that the BDIA will be short, depending on the option, anywhere from $6,000 to $22,000. The challenge we have is we can't allocate municipal accommodation tax dollars to that because we've expended all of the 2020 funds that we've collected. So we don't have any funds now. So my suggestion is that we should make a decision on if we want to go with option 3 for $6,000, option 2 for $12,000, or option 1 for $22,000. And that will be funded through the 2020 grant committee budget. Which does have some resources in there. Again, I think that's the decision as we go ahead. That would be on top of the 25,000 we've already directed, so 6, 12, or 22, and that can be part of the amendment that we consider on that. But as I said, the 2020 funding source of municipal accommodation tax is depleted. We've already put that forward to the Bay of Quinte regional marketing board, and we are I'm just losing my train of thought here. We've already done that, and we suspended the collection of those funds for April, May, and June this year. So that's where we're at. So let's deal with, I know Councillor Carr, you had suggested that taking it away from referring it to the grant committee. Can I just ask you before then we'll deal with Councillor Williams' additional information. As chair of the grant committee, are you okay with whatever figure we use, 6, 12, or 22, that come out of the 2020 grant committee's resources?
Do you happen to know what the current balance is right now?
No, but Director Hines, and I'm not putting words in her mouth, she said that there are sufficient funds to fund them, either one of those 3 options, but it'll be a decision of council.
Okay, no, just I know we do have some applications, but I know we do have some balance there. My bigger concern was just making sure on timing that we didn't get it caught up in the process here and then delay a decision for them.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Now, Councillor Williams, you had talked about funding some of that. This 6,000, 12,000, or 22,000. Does that cover whatever we decide as the option, will that cover that, or are you looking for funds in addition to that?
Well, I think if by the request, the staff time, the staff resources, which would normally go through grant, which we approve, that's fine. I think it's the additional monies, right, that they're looking for the CREOs. Just a housekeeping, so maybe Ms. Director Hines can answer for me. We've spent, from my understand on Matt, money that we had held in reserve, and that went forward to Bay County Regional Marketing Board. And that's as far as I understood how we spent that. But I don't think we've had the policy brought forth on the Matt yet. I know we were waiting for that pre-COVID. Last year, I'm just going to look at precedents. We spent money, I think there was motions made in May or June 2019 for fireworks that I think it was 25,000 in July 2019. So we've spent money before we've collected it from Matt. We only started taking it last July. I know just from the industry, there is going to be money collected July, August, September, October. It's not going to be what we wanted, but there's going to be some money in there. Could we not look at taking or doing an approval for some of those funds instead of taking it a grant? And I guess it's just, maybe it's two questions to Director Hines. What's the balance? Do we have a lot of money in grant? And is that going to cover this? Or should we look at a hybrid maybe with Matt and the funds from grant committee?
Okay, let's activate Director Hines. We'll bring her on online here. And we're just, there she is. Director Hines, welcome to the meeting. And have you heard all the questions and the discussion?
I have, and I'm just trying to access a report now that'll give me that balance. So I just need a couple of minutes.
Sure.
There is sufficient funding in the grant committee to cover any options 1, 2, or 3. In terms of the accounting for the MAT funding, I would have to get back to you on the exact disposition of the funds for 2020. And I would hesitate to use money for the balance of the year before we've actually earned it. I think we were trying to move ahead to get the MAT funding on the same plateau or the same basis as we were using for OLG money, and that was accumulating in one year and spending in the next. So I would hesitate to use money, commit money for 2020 that we haven't earned yet.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Williams, anything else on that?
No, that's fine. And I think if it's in the grant and that's for that use, I think it fits in both. And certainly, I think it's a good spend. And just to reiterate, I think downtown has done something great. There's going to be more things that come out that they're going to need help with. But for now, that's something that's great. And I think it's a good use of the money.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on discussion on this item? So can I just get a sort of a straw poll? So we have the 3 options. They were a little different in terms of their makeup, but 6,000, 12,000, and 22,000. Does anyone have strong feelings about which one of those options they would like to see? I can tell you I don't have strong feelings myself on it. I'll start with Councillor Kelly.
My feelings, 22.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Thompson.
I would not vote for 12,000.
Okay. Anyone else? Because we've got 2 different ones. Anyone else have? We'll have the amendment and contain this. So I'm just looking for that straw poll. Councillor Culhane, maybe just tell me and I can pass it along. 22. Councillor Culhane is good with 22,000. Does anyone have an objection with the 22,000? Okay. So if I'm reading the sense of this Zoom meeting correctly, we're going to make the decision now, and that we are going to fund option 1 for an additional $22,000, and staff will work with the BDIA regarding road closures. Even though we've approved these at this point, if through the discussion about safety concerns and traffic management, they need to make some modifications, they'll have that flexibility, and they will also have the funding. So the mover on that was Councillor Williams, and I believe Councillor Culhane. Are we good with that, Councillor Williams and Culhane? Okay, so consider that motion amended. I'll call the question. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you, and good luck to the BDIA with the summer. As Councillor Kelly said, it's wonderful to see the extra patios. What I will say is that we have not canceled the Porch Fest activities, including the after party for September. We will obviously wait and see how it goes, but the City Council, based on the recommendation of the Grant Committee, has already approved municipal resources for that event. So working with the Rotary Club and with the BDIA, we'll see how that goes.